Welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka SmashO Mash. We're starting things out looking at the sun here at 94 angstroms. And we're going to truncate the coverage a little bit today and make the video a little bit shorter, as we have another video to produce this afternoon. We'll tell you about it in a moment. We see 0 sunspots. Significant coronal holes both in the north and south pole region of the sun. No real magnetic organization going on. Here's the view from HelioViewer. 171 angstroms faded to magnetogram. So quite low levels of solar activity. Here's the fade to 304 angstroms. And you can see a couple filaments there on the east. And we've made some custom views for you on that. Here is the 304 angstroms eastern portion. And here's the exact same region in 171 angstroms. Again, North Pole coronal hole looking pretty large, but not looking in charge. And here's the view in 193 angstroms. This is a 48-hour view from the SDO once again. And a bunch of coronal holes around the equatorial region. And again, you can see that North Pole coronal hole and the South Pole coronal hole. Very significant amount of plasma missing on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. KP index is at 1. 10.7 centimeter radial flux at 69, so same as yesterday, no changes in the radial flux. Here's where planets and so forth are in the solar system. Here's where things will be in 1 week, God willing. Here's a star chart, and if you've got a good view of the ecliptic before sunrise, you should be able to see Jupiter, Saturn, the Moon, and Mars all at the same time. Also, Comet Swan moving into view in the northern hemisphere. We'll talk about it in a minute. First, looking at the X-ray flux, and we see a little bit of undulation there. Nothing resembling a flare, no surprise there. And the proton flux still flatlined. As we ramp back up to solar maximum, we've started to include the proton flux, as we're expecting some protons in the next few years. Next, looking at the real-time solar wind, we did see some fleeting coronal hole magnetic connections as I forecasted yesterday. Those have now ceased, and we see an increased solar wind density once again, 14.23 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed still quite low at 300 kilometers a second, having dropped all the way down in the 290s there. So we see some density and very, very low velocity. We're going to talk about cosmology for a quick moment. Thank goodness for Dr. Robitaille. Before we get into that, we're going to look at cosmic rays. Here are the neutron monitors at Petitions and Barentsburg. Flat over the past 30 days at Petitions, and a small uptick there over the past 2 days at Barentsburg. Still pretty flat on the month. Next, we'll look at Athens, Greece. By the way, we are streaming this live to twitch.tv/SmashOMash. So please bear with us if there are any delays in loading. Slight downtick there at Athens over the past 30 days. Mexico City, slight downtick there over the past 30 days. Is Moscow sending data? Maybe. I think we've got data once again. That is in nanotesla. That is not cosmic ray flux. And let's move on to Oulu, Finland. As I can't read Cyrillic, please leave a comment if you can. Please leave a comment if you know Russian. Here's the Oulu neutron monitor. Flat, actually slight downtick over the past 30 days there. DOMB Antarctica not sending data. DOMC Antarctica is, and a slight downtick there over the past 30 days. Here ends today's Cosmic Ray update. Now, talking about Comet Swan. Why is it called Comet Swan? Well, because it was discovered by an instrument called the Swan. You see this arrow over here. I'll draw another one. And you can see Comet Swan there crossing the celestial equator, I believe that is. There's an article on it at phys.org. Guess what it was discovered? Guess who it was discovered by? A solar watcher of the SOHO. So that's how it works, folks. Amateur astronomer Michael Mattiazzo from Australia spotted the visitor from the outer solar system. So the Swan is part of the SOHO suite of instruments. And I don't know if there's a link on this one or not. You can find this article on phys.org's Astronomy and Space section. How it was Comet Swan was discovered by people just like you who stare at the sun. Let's talk about other people who stare at the sun. Dr. Emery Robitaille. He's released a new video. Once again, he's been putting out a bunch of videos very quickly over the past couple of weeks. The Big Bang, photons, and the microwave background, where he goes very, very in-depth explaining Kirchhoff's law and why it's invalid. It has to do with black body radiation inside of a closed box, perfect reflecting walls, perfect absorbing walls, standing waves, and some stuff that prompts Dr. Robitaille to say that there's going to be a cataclysmic change in physics. I prefer to say that physics is being rewritten. Here's a clip from the latest video. Again, it's on the Sky Scholar channel. It's entitled The Big Bang, Photons, and the Microwave Background.
Of course, in 1862, Kirchhoff had no idea that silver cavities will someday be supporting standing waves.
So he really goes out of his way to explain Kirchhoff's law and the problems with it, and the way it figures into Planck's law, which makes Planck's law incomplete. So please, please check out Sky Scholar. There is observational evidence that the sun is made wholly of a gaseous plasma. Survey said? All right, we'll take it. Next, let's go to some more data here. Looking at geospace magnetosphere movies over the last 4 hours, courtesy University of Michigan. And as you can see, it's quite steady here. We have a high density and a low speed wind. No real surprises there. And we cover this daily. If you want to see what was happening during these 4 hours on a different day, watch our older videos. We've made playlists. Here's 4 hours of data for geospace ground magnetic perturbations, and we don't see very much induced ground magnetic perturbation there, as everything's pretty steady right now. During this global excursion, this global geomagnetic excursion, we've got 2 north poles and a south pole, which has crept into the southern Indian Ocean. Ghost magnetometers are looking a little smoother than they have for the past few weeks. We are solidly in the south pole oriented portion of the current sheet. And the GOES 15 still not back online. Anyway, there's the data from the GOES 16 magnetometer. Here is the National Sunspot Observatory's Gong 2 data, the top view ecliptic plane field plot. This data, 2 hours and 8 minutes old, showing us a little bit of North Pole activity over here, out near stereo B, but still not strong enough to charge up that portion of the current sheet. You don't see any green coming through lately here. And the South Pole polarity shown here in red. Next, looking at the line of sight field plot, nothing to write home about there. Keep in mind, these are both magnetic environments, which can change suddenly with no warning, and that the data is 2 hours and 8 minutes old. Relativistic electrons still at quite low levels, and we don't expect to see them go up until the solar wind density drops back down to background levels. Here's the total electron content. And by the way, the TCIPE stands for Coupled Thermosphere, Ionosphere, Plasmasphere Electrodynamics Model. Because this is basically for GPS satellites, the total electron content in between the ground and the satellites. Here's the GOES electron flux, still at very low levels, and that has to do with that solar wind density. Next, looking at the ionosphere. Now we're looking at just one layer instead of a cross-section of all the layers. And we see a quite anomalous ionosphere once again, especially on the nighttime side. You can see how it's kind of wobbling back and forth, especially around the South Atlantic anomaly, which is around this area. Let's bring up the latest image and move on. There's a latest image, pretty discharged on the non-sun portion. The sun would probably be around this area right now at 8:30 UT. Just north of the equator, as we are in spring in the northern hemisphere. Next, we'll look at pressure cells, courtesy windy.com, who has a great mobile app, by the way. We're going to let this advance about 24 hours via the GFS forecast. Here's where we expect things to be at noon tomorrow. And we are located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, here in the Smash Bunker. A place we would prefer not to be, but COVIDIOTS has driven us into the bunker. Next, looking at earthquakes, we see a deep quake striking western South America. Once again, it's a 4.2 at 170 kilometers depth. This one coming in just about 24 hours before we made the video. And by the way, we're recording this live on twitch.tv/SmashOMash at 4:35 a.m. to bring up all the data so you don't have to. And we're just going to scroll up the list here. We saw a quake out by Easter Island. We're just going to go over quakes over a 6 magnitude, or oddities, or deep quakes, or extremely shallow quakes, perhaps. Here's one of the larger quakes of the past 24. It's a 5.2 at Tonga. Nearly 250 kilometers depth on that one. Here's a very deep quake near Japan. It's a 4.2 magnitude at 442 kilometers. Here's a shallow quake at California, and we see a bunch having kicked off there, as well as one having just come in. That one is at a depth of 100 meters above sea level. Let's check out the location. This one located near Livermore, located south of Brentwood. There you go. Up in some hills there. At least that one not occurring over the open ocean, as we've seen a number of those in the past. So there's that one. That came in at 0 hour, just after midnight Universal Time. Here's one of the larger quakes of Idaho of the past period of time. Let's take a look at that one also. It's a 4.4 near Cascade. And there is a location of that one, located in a significantly mountainous region. Possibly felt by Boise, but I don't think so. There are too many mountains in between the quake and the city. And let's get back to the list here. There's a significant one, again, in western South America. It's a 4.2 magnitude quake at 213 kilometers depth. Please have an earthquake plan if you're in an earthquake-prone area. Have a bug-out bag. Know which buildings might collapse if a big quake happens, as we are seeing a drought of earthquakes during this solar minimum period. Let's get the volcanoes. Kluchevskoy is exploding, producing a 20,000-foot plume of ash. Karimsky remains on the list. Thermal anomalies observed in satellite image. Mount Aso, flight level 7,000 there. Sakurajima, flight level 7,000 there. Dakono, flight level 7,000 there as it explodes. Popocatépetl also explodes. Flight level 20,000 there. Sabancaya explodes. Intermittent emissions have produced a 24,000-foot plume of ash. Please do not attempt to pole vault the caldera or do the Fosbury flop over it. It could be unhealthful. And we've moved on to the scary, scary, spooky, spooky, scary, spooky section where people are completely becoming psychotic as a result of you know what. One of my pieces of advice is, if it's room temperature, it takes about 5 minutes for this to happen. So, thanks, son. See you in your eyes. So, there's that. 5 minutes in room temperature sunlight destroys the virus. It's very, very scary and spooky, though. OMG, we better lock ourselves inside for years and years until we get a vaccine or whatever kind of nonsense. Are you a COVIDiot? Are you watching the video right now as a COVIDiot? Well, if you're not familiar with the term, COVIDiot is a perfect term for those spreading, creating, or publishing unverified or false information about the novel coronavirus, an idiot who doubts the existence of COVID-19, therefore ignoring the need for social distancing and proper hand washing, a play on a disease's official name, COVID-19, as well as the word idiot. COVIDiot. Are you a COVIDiot? If so, please move to a different galaxy. I hear M31 is lovely at this time of year. The Andromeda Galaxy, the closest massive galaxy. Go have a vacay. We'll totally be here when you get back. Here's another idiotic, since USA Today is a COVIDiot organization, USA Today, staffed by COVIDiots. Apparently so is the CDC. You should not be wearing gloves in public. Okay, guess what? Most people do not know how to use PPE. What's PPE? It's personal protective equipment. Now, I've been using significant PPE that I bought myself all the way back in 1999 when I started doing hardwood flooring, which is why I've owned elastomeric masks, hazmat suits, and all kinds of stuff like that. Now, currently I work for a science company. We do lab testing on the food supply, and guess what we do? We wear gloves, but guess what we do? When we contaminate them, we throw them in the garbage, and then we switch to another pair of gloves. I know it sounds crazy, right? This is part of the problem with why mask wearing and lockdowns are ineffective, because people do not understand the slightest thing about the spread of infectious diseases, how to do it, how to wear PPE. People wearing masks, touching their face, touching gloves, touching doors, going to the grocery store, not having any idea what they're doing. By the way, I don't know if you're aware, but you can actually wash your gloves like your hands. And yeah. So the CDC coming out on this article by Eric Liedtke, perhaps a COVIDiot. If you're wearing the same set of gloves all over town, you're only spreading germs everywhere you go. And if you didn't know that already, you are a COVIDiot. Now, you might not be one of these two COVIDiots. Former NCAA linebacker Dr. Rachel Levine, or Tom Wolfe. Dr. Rachel Levine is the Physician General of Pennsylvania. Tom Wolfe is the governor, which is why we're petitioning to get rid of Tom Wolfe, because they are Pennsylvania's top COVIDiots. Something COVIDiotic is going to happen today as Trump comes and visits an Owens Minor location, a company making tons and tons of PPE and sending them all over the country. Gloves and masks and hospital gowns and so on. We're going to have a mobile cemetery tying up the roads, which is a reason for me to not be around there. And sadly, I might be around there when this COVIDiocy happens. A group protesting Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic is organizing a caravan of more than 100 vehicles that will be carrying, quote, mobile headstones. Make the Road Action is a progressive advocacy group for immigrant communities and working class communities of color. In other words, it's racist, because if you're not immigrant and you're not of color, they don't want you. Now, there's been a lot of COVIDiocy going on in India. We covered this one yesterday. It's pretty hilarious. And we've updated the forum, by the way. One way to avoid COVIDiocy is to talk to non-COVIDiots, like Diamond from Oppenheimer Ranch Project, aka David Moriello. We'll be doing another episode of the Diamond Anvil Too Hard to Smash today, so look for that coming out this afternoon. We won't talk like COVIDiots, or maybe we'll do a COVIDiot only special where we behave as COVIDiots the entire time. Who knows? It's a secret. Now, you may want to follow me on Facebook as there's all kinds of interesting stuff always going on there. And we're getting into arguments with COVIDIOTS on the regs. COVIDIOTS, leftists, people who like censorship, and complete morons. Anyway, it's facebook.com/SmashOmash. If you enjoy the content here on YouTube, or if you're viewing on BitChute, please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to share on your social media, as we are attempting to increase our reach and things like knowledge of science. Anyway, thanks to our new subscribers over on YouTube, etc., as well as our new BitChute subscribers. It's great over there. We're getting hundreds and hundreds more views than we do on YouTube, so cheers. We're also on Twitter, and we've recently shared the petition to recall Governor Tom Wolf once again. So if you want to sign that, you can do it at Twitter. You can do it on Minds.com, the future of social media, where you won't be censored, you won't be shadow banned. You may get 659,000 views like we did with only 737 subscribers. Minds.com, the future of social media. Unlike Facebook, which is a zombie corporation, just like Google and Twitter and Apple. Zombie corporations, big tech, is not the wave of the future. Big tech is busted. Another thing you may want to do when you're locked down for no good reason is to head to soundclick.com/GoldenCatProductions. Listen to some original music, and thanks everybody who's listened to Molybdenum 99, as we are now charted in the rock category, and we were just in the top 10 for the subgenre, but now we're in the top 100 for the overall genre, so go have a listen. Molybdenum 99, named after the GF, aka Christie, aka Molybdi. Number 9 in the subgenre today, and we've peaked at number 36 there in the main rock chart. So go have a listen, perhaps download the single if you like. It's 99 cents, and you can stream it for free if you like. Soundclick.com/GoldenCatProductions. 15 tracks up there, some of them weird, some of them, there's no genre. We do not belong to a genre. I am a genre. So also head to SmashOmash.org. We've got links there to other social media, as well as a link to the newly unveiled SmashO Forum, where we've recently updated, where I say, cancel the government today. Overpaid political activists and science-denying lackeys have no role in governance. Lehigh County, where I live, state of emergency will last well into summer, which means I may have to quit my job and become a professional protester/activist. It's entirely possible. The idea is 100% in the works, possibly. So get your vitamin D. So this is another article we've put up here. It's smashomash.com/forum. If you head to the free-for-all forum, there is an extensive 30-plus page long section about coronavirus. There's even one about COVIDIOTS. So please get your vitamin D, as the benefits of vitamin D are super obvious, whether it's from sunlight or from supplementation if you've decided to live in Johnny Depp's cave. I suggest taking vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, if you're not getting ample sunlight, especially. Also consider taking L-lysine. The essential amino acid that cannot be produced within the body must be consumed via supplementation or foods. L-lysine, the amino acid, is responsible for the production of hormones, enzymes, and antibodies, and you could imagine how that could possibly be a little bit important during times of a spooky, scary, spooky pandemic. Evidence suggests people will develop coronavirus-related psychosis, as it's already happening, as people are losing their you-know-what over you-know-what. So another article there, that one from SciTech Daily. Shout out to SciTech Daily for the brilliant articles on the regs. We've even got an insanity files section on the forum, so if you haven't registered over there, check out smashomash.com/forum. We've got a forum on cosmology. We've got a forum on Earth and geophysics, general science, the sun, a free-for-all, which is where the coronavirus section is. Check it out, approaching 400 users. Will you be the 400th user? Or perhaps the poster of the 100th topic? having gone over 12,000 views. Check it out. And shout out to Jenny7292. We're also on Locals, so if you head to smashomash.locals.com, Dave Rubin's brand new site, we put up the petition on there, as well as our meme about Pennsylvania's top COVIDIOTS. So again, please sign the petition. I don't care what country you're in. Petition the Pennsylvania State House of Representatives to recall Government Tom Wolf and send him out the right way with a kick in the you-know-what before his final term ends. We can't wait. It's way too early. It's way too late for his final term to end. So let's send him out right, as he does things like run up debt and mess up the economy without any sort of plans for reopening or fixing anything. Top COVIDiot, Tom Wolf. Get rid of him. So here's the change.org petition. Again, it's all over our social media. Another thing you may want to do when you're locked down is head to Neil Thompson's Sausage Party. Now, Neil Thompson likes to go on Facebook and campaign for the ultimate, most leftist causes, like the election of Bernie Sanders. Hey, how'd that work out for you, Neil? Now, are you enjoying Neil's Sausage Party? Please head to facebook.com/smashomash and look at the recent conversations with Neil. As I don't even know if Neil is a U.S. voter, and if Neil does have dual citizenship because he's Canadian, apparently the U.S. State Department will just let anybody in, no matter how COVIDiotic they are. And on a related note, consumer tip, some leftists are also pearl-clutching pussies who believe completely nonsensical theories and fancy themselves scientists. Some of those same leftists try to silence people who call them on their pathetic nonsense. Those particular leftists are extremely un-American, don't comprehend the Constitution, nor science. If you stand in the way of their statist politics or their electric universe theory, which doesn't qualify as a theory, by the way, they'll attempt to gaslight and censor you. So don't worry about pearl-clutching pussies. They're trying their best to die out, spending spring campaigning from their bunkers for bigger government. It's pretty sad, but evolve or die. By the way, we're on Instagram also. It's instagram.com/smashomash. And by the way, I still have the DR770. I just haven't hooked it up yet because I'm too busy with all kinds of COVIDiotic things that I'm forced to do because the government said so. Let's get back to data and look at the jet streams. Major anticyclone here north of Alaska once again. Doubled up meridional jet stream flow all over the place. No surprises there. It's now the norm, not the oddity. Here's the eastern world's jet streams. And we see doubled up, tripled up jet streams, extreme meridional jet stream flow. People are going to freak out at being hot. People are going to freak out about it being cold. Enough said. Here are the water vapor maps for Europe and Africa. Here are the water vapor maps for the Far East and Oceania. Here's a lightning map, courtesy lightningmaps.org, and we see some lightning striking in the U.S. Let's have a look. Maybe we can give somebody a warning. St. Joseph, there's thunder rolling in. Next time you hear thunder, check out lightningmaps.org. And if you see those expanding circles there, folks, those are the expected thunder. So if you'd like to predict thunder, freak out your friends, scare the natives, and pretend that you're Thor or Odin, lightningmaps.org. Now we're on Weather Underground here, looking at the U.S. Doppler radar map. And we see a persistent storm there in between Cuba and Florida. Please leave a comment if you're viewing the video from a raft made out of car parts from 50s automobiles. Next, looking at the U.S. water vapor map. And we see that area of major convergence and compression there over most of Texas. We'll zoom in on the Texas-Oklahoma border region. Today's weather pornography brought to you by smashomash.org at massive personal risk and liability. By the way, if you're viewing the videos live, please leave us a comment. You could actually affect what's coming out, which is yet another reason to subscribe and maybe download the Twitch app. It's free. It'll notify you when we go live. If anything truly crazy ever happens, that's what we'll do, because the platform is so good. Twitch.tv/SmashOmash. Anyway, there's the current state of affairs over Texas. And you're seeing massive compression happen here as this massive air here and this massive air here is sandwiching this moisture. And that's part of the reason why it's having such a slow time moving to the east. And let's move on to thank our patrons. Thanks to our latest patron. We appreciate your support. We've got 2 tiers over there. Every little bit counts, and we need lots and lots more funding to accomplish our goals for the year 2020. We have not yet filed our nonprofit paperwork. So again, please support us via Patreon or perhaps Subscribestar. There's also a link to the PayPal. It's paypal.me/SmashOmash. So thanks everybody who does support the channel. You're the real source of funding, not those ads that you may see on you-know-where tube. So thanks, Smash Team. Please share the content on your social media. Tell your local science nerd. Tell your friends. Tell your foes. Lots of fun for everyone. Next, looking at the intensity gram here to show you 0 sunspots. If you saw a dark spot, well, that would be a sunspot. Here's the colorized magnetogram to show you hardly any magnetic organization happening. A little bit in the northeast there. Nothing to write home about. And let's close things out with one final video here. It's, how about the 131 angstroms? A crowd favorite. This takes 10 images per minute instead of only 2. Much like the 94 angstroms, it's temporally higher resolution. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staring at the sun. Attempt to understand the physics. Don't forget to watch that Robitaille video. Don't forget to watch our previous cosmology segments, as we've organized things into playlists on YouTube. Again, please share on your social media, as we're having just a little bit of trouble gaining traction and views and subscribers over on YouTube because reasons. Anyway, welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Since it'll never be now again, don't forget to stare at the sun. May that solar wind be at your back, and may that COVIDiocy be absent from your galaxy.